think your most watched videos are the ones on Pedogate, so we can just go through that. And I'll give like a warning to all listeners that we are going to enter into some pretty scary, disgusting territory. So don't have a cup of coffee in your hand. Get a wastebasket. Some of this stuff you may have heard, you may have not heard, but Jamie will talk a little bit about that. So Jamie, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you having me. Awesome. It's an honor.
Thanks, man. Well, if you can, before we kind of get started going into the content of your research, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a musician at heart. Born in Boston, around Boston, Massachusetts, relocated to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, back when I was 11. And, just played music, toured around the country, had my downfalls, my battles, my own personal things with drugs and all those issues. Got clean. I have a good job now. I'm a photographer and graphic designer. I'm also a published poet.
Cool.
And then last year with WikiLeaks and everything, or 2016, and, the whole, a word I hate saying anymore, Pizzagate, because it's so controversial one way or the other, but the whole human trafficking issue is what got me, the kids, because I had 2 kids, so I have 2 young children. And I just felt like I needed to help spread awareness,
Cool. Well, you've done a great job, an excellent job, just kind of getting out all those stories. I mean, some of these are unbelievable. You did do a section about Pizzagate, but you've also done some other stuff based on other internet information. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Well, it's weird because it's hard to talk about sometimes because it has to do. I mean, I go all philosophical and all out in the universe when I start talking that way. And I don't know if people really get what I'm saying sometimes, but I think a lot of it has to do with the time we're living in right now. So yeah, I have done videos about that, about my own personal quote unquote awakening.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's where I'm going there.
How long has that been for you? Like, how long have you kind of
about 2013, 2014. So only about 4 years. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my whole life started. That's when I got off drugs and I had my rough times and I accepted my shadows, so to speak. Everything changed from there. I got a really good job.
Cool. Well, good for you. I'm glad you made it through, man. Not everybody comes out the other side. So.
Oh yeah, it's rough. It's really rough. But it's kind of like once you do that, once you beat like all those withdrawals and all that bad stuff, it's like, well, you can pretty much do anything. It's not as bad as that was.
Gotcha. Well, maybe one of the first things we can talk about is really the more popular videos that you've done on your YouTube channel, which is Jamie Dlux. Dlux is spelled D-L-U-X. I recommend all my listeners go there, subscribe. He's got about 10,000 subscribers, but he's done and laid out really in detail, I think, some of the best information about just this sickening, terrifying underground of Hollywood. But can you talk, maybe we could just get started by talking about Nickelodeon and what's going on there.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of rumors and there's been a lot of, a lot of facts too, with a lot of connections of convicted pedophiles still being able to work in this industry. And, what, if you want me to start first, like what got me into the whole entertainment part?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to expose the whole Pizzagate thing and politicians and all that.
Right.
And most of the time, nobody wanted to talk about that or listen,
Gotcha.
And I was just, I was trying to pretty much just look in all aspects because garage door.
That's right. No worries. I looked into Pizzagate as well. There was a lot of really creepy connections, strange pictures of kids and.
Exactly. And you can't, I can't say I know anything 100% because I don't, but you gotta, if somebody would personally take the time to look into stuff, there's some weird stuff there. It's all I'm going to say, So.
Well, you did a video on that weird Pegasus building, that mystery building.
Well, what I did was, I had, you start to meet not mutual, but you start to meet contacts that are passionate about the same subjects you are. And I, branched out a little bit. And I saw people that I knew and talked to online were going there. So I just pretty much used their Periscope and streamed it because they didn't have a YouTube channel. So on Pegasus. But it's all weird. There's always weird things. And it's like, how many coincidences can there be,
Right. I mean, they talked about some of those things. I remember one picture, it was of the Ninja Turtles and somebody wrote something. Wouldn't mind
Yeah,
was it Haitian sauce on there? Like all
it's
these stupid
just
stuff. Yeah.
it just feels like they're inside jokes.
Yes. Tons of
And like
inside jokes.
tons of inside jokes.
Yeah.
So whether they're talking about something or something else, we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But
Panda and all this stuff. Yeah.
it's really weird. So and then I started branching out, and I got interested in the whole Corey Haim, Corey Feldman case because there was a lot of clues there, and I was like, wow, it's like somebody left us clues.
Gotcha.
And what had happened was, sorry, I live in the South.
That's okay.
Corey Feldman confirmed that I found where his original molester was living. I found the right guy. I found his Facebook page. He was living in Mexico and all that. And he confirmed it on Twitter back to me. He's like, great work with a check mark.
Wow.
Yeah, personally. Because I
Amazing.
tagged him in it. Yeah. And at that point is when my channel started to really blow up. And I was like, whoa, it got overwhelming. Yeah, that confirmation,
Was his abuser well known, or was he a director, or was somebody behind the scenes?
It was pretty much behind the scenes. It was the first guy, I guess, the John. Yeah, it's kitty cats, baby. Can you go back inside for a minute?
I want one.
Okay, baby.
I want a kitty.
You want a kitty? Okay, go back inside with Mama for a minute. All right, guys.
I'll pick up that kitty.
Go back inside with Mama.
No, she's mad at me.
Thank you.
She's mad at me.
Go inside, please.
She's mad at me.
All right. Well, I'll be in a few. Okay.
No.
Try go inside. Come on. See, this is what I mean.
It's okay. We can just edit this out. That's fine. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal.
Come on, guys. All right.
No problem. So, like the abuser, Corey Haim verified. You found the abuser.
Corey Feldman. Yeah, Corey Feldman verified it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, great work, and a check mark. And it wasn't even until later I saw a picture of in National Enquirer of my Twitter and that tweet. So
Get out! Wow. So somebody from the National Enquirer followed your research.
I guess so. Yeah, I found the picture. I just just out of curiosity after I've been doing this, because I've only been doing this for a year. February 19th, I believe, was 1 year that I've been on YouTube doing this.
It's only been a year. Wow.
Yeah, and it's a passion, I guess, behind it. Like, as a musician, a poet, and an artist.
Graphics, the graphics are great. Like, you've done a really good job.
I do it. You know what? I do it off my iPhone, and it's an old one.
You're actually super funny too. So
well, I appreciate
some of your episodes are really hysterical.
Well, it's just like this stuff is so dark, and I'm not a serious person. I'm a sincere person. I'm not serious, however. I don't really take life seriously. I just like to laugh. Yeah. So
well, it's good to have a little levity. I mean, some of these stories are so dark. It's pitch black, man. It's incredible if they're true.
Oh, I've heard some of them, especially in particular the Franklin cover-up, right. And I had nightmares. I don't remember my dream, but I'm sure I did.
That's
I feel like I was gonna get sick just listening to it.
Yeah. Because there were people got murdered, covered up. And stuff.
Exactly.
Some of these people you talk about possibly are murdered too. Like Mark Salling supposedly got murdered.
Exactly. What I've been following, like I didn't even hear about Crazy Days and Nights.net until a few months ago, and I love it. I'm addicted to it. Like, it's just like little puzzles.
Well, maybe you can tell people who haven't heard of Crazy Days and Nights, because I probably just discovered it within the last 4 or 5 months, what Crazy Days and Nights is.
Yeah, I've only discovered it within like the last 4 months too. Yeah. But it's awesome. It's NT Lawyer, he goes by. It's an anonymous lawyer, entertainment lawyer, and he pretty much just writes these little blind items, they're called. And they're just like stories supposedly true, but he doesn't name people. Some of them he does later on. They do reveal, but they don't do it for everything.
Right.
Yeah, and you just read through them, and some of the stuff just kind of like there's clues there, like it was with the Corey Feldman case. Right. Like he left all these clues, so I was like, it's just I guess in my nature to like want to do puzzles. I used to like crossword puzzles and stuff like that, and so that's a thing.
There's other people like you who are also trying to discern or uncover who his blinds and who he's talking about. So in the notes, people are trying to figure out who the story pertains to.
I could not do I couldn't do 90% of what I do without so much help from those people in the blind items, because they do guess. Like, I'll go in there and I'll try to go into the puzzle. I call it a puzzle, but I'll try to go into blind item without looking at what anybody else says. and I'll get to a point, and then I'll go back and look. And there has been a couple times where I found stuff that I hadn't seen before, but honestly, I couldn't do it without like everybody else in there.
There's some people who really know Hollywood history.
Exactly.
And they dig up these names that I don't remember or maybe heard fleeting years ago, but they're incredible stories.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like everybody has their own background and what they were into before, and that's what like, especially with my channel, like I go live and just like talk to everyone that subscribed to me pretty much nightly. I mean, a lot of people don't like it, and that's cool. They like my videos, and I appreciate that. But it helps me too. Just like I just go for it, and I feel like we're building a community more than anything.
Interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, I've never. This is really one of my first YouTube lives, so I'm trying to start kind of going that direction. So
watch out, it's kind of a day thing.
Meet some of my subscribers. I've got 2 channels with about the same amount of subscribers you did. I actually tried. I did 2 channels because I thought that the Google sensors wouldn't key into the other channel. It didn't work very well. It was an attempt.
I'm still on hiatus for waiting. Because I was never going to monetize my videos. So it was never about that. But my addiction to making these videos, because like I said, with time and everything, I do it all from my phone. Everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, except I have like a custom ending. I did that on a computer, my little spaceship. But
right,
yeah, everything else is on my phone though. So yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say.
That's amazing. You've done so many stories. I mean, maybe we can go into the crazy stories they've talked about Nickelodeon and kind of make our way maybe through some of your videos. And there's some names that keep popping up over and over again, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people looking like. There's a lot of other good channels too that I've been trying to connect with, and anybody that helps get info out, like it helps so much. That's why like a lot of my subscribers help too. But Nickelodeon, well, of course, I'm sure you've heard of An Open Secret, right?
Right. Yeah, my listeners are probably very familiar with that one.
Yeah, An Open Secret. And Gabe Hoffman and all them. So with the combination of An Open Secret and because they're a great source, I can find stuff out like Anti-Lawyer and crazydaysandnights.net, but also so my videos.
Right.
The Nickelodeon one. A lot of the info was already out. At that point I hadn't seen An Open Secret yet, but there's convicted pedophiles like still working there. Brian Peck being one of them. I don't know if he's still in that one, but he's been all over.
And Dan Schneider's another name, right?
Dan Schneider is a name that's not been confirmed yet, but it has been rumored for a long time. Yes.
Rumored. And there's an even more horrifying rumor about Jamie Lynn Spears, right?
Yes, and Dan Schneider. And the thing is, the more rumors you hear and the more you hear them from different people, the more you have to start like questioning, well, maybe there might be some truth to this,
Some truth, right. And that truth is, I mean, they're writing on Crazy Days and Nights, and if we shortened it CDAN to the acronym, they're writing that Jamie Lynn Spears' boyfriend is not the father of her child.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is just sick ass crazy.
Like, like on CDAN, thank you. It's a lot easier to say. On CDAN, there's like I'll skip through a lot of them because I don't really care about gossip if somebody's cheating on somebody. I don't even know how half these new Hollywood names are. It's like I don't really
have to look them up. I gotta look up.
Yeah. It's like the older you get, you're like, I don't know any of these new actors or anything, So so I'll skip through a lot. But once I see anything with pedophilia, rape, murder, or anything like that, I can't. It's just my nature to like try to bust that stuff, the best I can. And it's just a hobby for me.
Right.
I wish I had more time though, because I guess I am getting pretty good at it. Because I've been hearing that a lot.
You've got a lot of followers. I mean, the thing is that the pedophilia that pervades the whole system is just incredible. There's just so much crazy stuff involving Charlie Sheen.
Oh my God!
The Charlie Sheen allegation, I think, might win as the most disgusting of the group. Yeah.
There's a lot there, and
he's constantly popping up on CDAN too.
Yeah, I know, all the time.
They're predicting he's going to die by the end of this year. That's what they're saying.
Really?
Yeah. They just wrote another one that said, his doctors are giving him 6 months.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's how many celebrities died last year? It's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, a lot.
he's young. I think he's in his early 50s, but
He is young. He is young, but he's lived. I guess he's lived pretty hard. I just hope the truth does come out about everything, whether it's before or after. Of course, I want, I'd like somebody to be shamed for what they've done before they died, so they have to face it.
That's what they're saying on CDAN. But they said, who Lenny Dykstra is, the former.
Yes.
So he was the one Lenny Dykstra was the one who leaked the story that Charlie Sheen exposed like 30 or 35 women to HIV.
Yes.
And that was one that, hasn't really hit, for as far as I know, hasn't hit the mass media, but National Enquirer covered it in detail, 5 pages. And Lenny Dykstra is like talking, I think he was in a big magazine like Variety or something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I used that in one of my Charlie Sheen videos because Lenny Dykstra was just spilling beans left and right. And I'll admit, I didn't know who he was till this is before my whole Charlie Sheen escapades, I guess you'll say. I used to listen to Howard Stern while I'm working and stuff. And I heard him on that. And he's a scumbag, but at least he's like an honest scumbag. He doesn't try to hide.
He's kind of like Sheen, right? Sketchy, druggy.
Yeah, but he's like, he seems to be a little more honest about being like, There's a little bit of a difference there because I have a past and all that. I'm not anything like that, but I'm definitely no saint, and I am very honest about, my past and everything. So,
well, there's interesting things about Sheen. Like there's deaths around Sheen. Like his manager died, right?
Yep.
Manager died. There was a porn star out of Texas who died.
Yeah.
And he said something about Jones, I think was her last name. I remember that story, and I just read about his manager recently.
With that, I forget his name, but yeah, like Lenny said, he got out of prison. He's like, oh, whatever happened to what's his name? It's like an Italian name. He's like, oh, you mean Dead Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he threatened to blackmail me, so I had him put out or something like that.
Right, something like that. And Charlie Sheen said some really threatening, intense stuff to people.
I know.
And I think that CDAN was accusing him of raping young, and that it's Sheen, if people don't know, is reputed to be, I don't know, maybe if this is confirmed, that Hames abuser in part was Sheen. Is that right?
That's what I've heard. I've heard it from the National Enquirer. I've heard it from other mouths. I can't say I know if it's true, but that seems to be the general consensus.
Yeah, and I think that CDAN was saying that Sheen was a repeat abuser of young men too. And then you get into, his old girlfriend. It just gets so bad. There's allegations. They're alleging that Sheen, just for the listeners, he wanted to have pedophile relationships with one of his girlfriend's kids. That's the allegations. Allegedly, yes.
And some of them even allege that there was, if it is him that we're talking about, some of them don't name, but the initials were ML. It's like, it kind of gives you hints. And if it's ML and it's Charlie Sheen, then it seems to be Major League,
Major League, right.
Yeah, so if that is the case, then he has.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it's just off the charts. And this is, so Sheen is like all over the place. Very strange friends, and he's like probably one of the top 10 people on that website,
Yeah, over and over and over again. A lot of people are getting very curious about some, more well-known directors also, but these are rumors.
Well, what about Bryan Singer? Bryan Singer.
Well, yeah, I just think his name's mud now. It's got to be by now.
Yeah, he's in trouble. So they kicked him off that last movie recently, right? Within the last 6 months, and now he's in Europe, and they're saying rumors about him offing people.
Oh yeah. The more you look into it, the more it seems like and this goes politics, it goes entertainment, it's more, and maybe even some religion, maybe not religions, but some institutions that some churches, at least, seems like it's an institution or a hidden net of a mafia run type organization.
Like almost. There's fixers and cleaners, right?
Yeah.
So and I think that's really true. I used to think that I lived in DC and I saw some of that, and now I think that Hollywood or LA is just on par with DC, or probably even New York, having people fix and clean, like from Pulp Fiction, like literally a cleaner comes in and fixes stuff.
The Wolf,
right? The Wolf. Exactly, and they know. Here there's one lawyer they all go to, even Sheen and.
Well, not Bryan Singer. Marty Singer.
Marty Singer, right?
I did a video on that too. And I couldn't find any relation. There's a lot of singers.
I don't think there's a relationship, but he's an excellent lawyer and he's experienced in that.
Yeah,
paid
yeah,
very well, $1,000 an hour or something like that. So.
yeah.
I mean, there's even a picture of him with one of these directors, Ratner, I think. I saw a
Okay.
picture of Ratner with him, and Ratner's
Well, you know,
networked with all those guys.
with the Natalie Wood case, I found an old article. All right, back then the lawyer that was Robert Wagner's lawyer back then.
Right.
I can't recall his name off the top of my head, but I have used him in videos. Well, after he died, I found some articles. It might have even been before he died in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Mafia lawyer, cleaner, whatever his name is. And I found
Wow.
these in articles. Yeah. So, or
So
fixer,
they're calling him a fixer, yeah.
Fixer, not cleaner, fixer. Yes.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, the Natalie Wood story. So supposedly the cover story, the top story is that she kind of drifted off and drowned. But CDAN writes I mean, they basically point the finger at Robert Wagner.
Yeah.
And said that they were negligent. They were arguing, and she insulted him.
And apparently, Christopher Walken apparently went to the authorities in 1984 and spilled the beans.
Wow, they just didn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so many years. It took them like 30 years to reopen the case or something. It makes no sense to me at all. It just there's so much corruption. I think is what it was.
The cops are. I mean, unfortunately, the cops operate within the kind of network of LA. So
some of them do. Yeah, I mean,
look at Pizzagate. Like, right? There's
exactly.
enough to investigate there, and the cop didn't do anything.
No.
Pictures of him with somebody. Was it Alephantis or Podesta?
Oh yeah, no, Alephantis. There's pictures of him with Sam Comet. He also has a past of passing out drunk with his gun, and I think don't quote. I mean, I guess this is going to be it's not a quote, but it's something like domestic violence or domestic abuse with his wife or ex-wife or something.
Crazy.
Something about that.
The interesting thing about Alephantis is that he pops up from this other angle from some of the CDAN material. Because,
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
I know. Yeah,
when it came out, it was a Michael Stipe one.
Yeah, I found a connection. He was in a movie, like he was an executive producer of a movie with Michael Stipe.
Right. And what was that movie where the men were kissing? I forgot what the name of it was.
That was Velvet Goldmine.
Velvet Goldmine. So Velvet Goldmine. I mean, they're alleging, I think, and this is a rumor, of course, is Stipe forced himself on the lead actor.
Yep.
But he was also a producer with James Alephantis in 1998.
Yeah.
And the kid's name was Jonathan. He was young at the time. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers.
Yes, and he went on to be even more famous. And my ex-wife used to watch it. What was that show? It was on HBO. It was Henry VIII or whatever. Yeah.
But they had the CDAN blind had Ewan McGregor and Christian Bale tagged as people who whose careers took off after that. And that was a Miramax film, so there's Weinstein too.
Oh, yeah.
It's Weinstein, Alephantis, and Stipe. I mean, it just blows your mind. Like,
yeah, and then here's another Weinstein connection. Well, I was doing one blind, and of course, I'm not 100% sure I was right, but I think I am at least. I wouldn't put it out if I didn't think I was right. I'm not saying I am, but but one about the movie Kids.
Right.
And Justin Pierce, who played Casper. I never even knew he committed suicide in 2000. I had no clue. I wonder where he went, because I grew up watching that movie, and
I was familiar with it. It caused such a huge stir.
Yeah, I mean, it came out when I was about 14, so it was right around the age. We weren't like that, but just it reminded me like we were like the trailer trash version of that, but not as bad.
There were kids in every city that were like that had both at work. They were walking around smoking cigarettes.
Exactly. Yeah, we just weren't as bad as they were, but just kind of.
But like the kids' allegations is that the kids were abused by the directors and producers.
Yes.
Like every day, and it involved this one, just a lot of people in their lives. I think the kid killed himself. Yeah,
I had no clue, and apparently, when Kids the movie came out, it was going to get an NC-17 rating, and because they wanted it to have what would the other? I don't know, R, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein and Bob Weinstein, I found, created a whole new distribution company just to put, at that point, so they could do it as an R rating. That's kind of weird too, I thought, another weird connection.
I mean, that's the interesting thing about Weinstein is nobody's really walked back the cat with him and done like all of the shady stuff he's been involved in.
Exactly.
For years. I mean, you talk about cleaners, there's Pulp Fiction with the cleaner, Harvey Weinstein, all that stuff. So anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Big one is bad, yeah.
The more you look into the stuff, the more connections you start seeing. And the more same names that pop up over and over again.
Well, Elephantis popped up. I almost fell out of my chair because I did a
Yeah.
lot of Pizzagate research. And so,
Oh, you did too? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
tons. Yeah, I've got talks about Pizzagate, and I looked into it and looked at all the connections and all the weird videos that were shot
Man,
in
I know.
DC, and just all the pedophile symbols and all that.
Here's another thing. Like, I grew up playing music and, you know, touring the country when I was younger, but mostly East Coast. And I've been in, you know, up until the past, like, you know, few years. I had my kid 4 years ago, pretty much involved in the underground music scene. And I would book bands here in Myrtle Beach.
Mhm.
I've never heard of any of those bands before. Never.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I would think I would have heard of one band that's played there. I never have, though.
That's weird too. And those videos, you know, some of them are decently produced. Like somebody spent some money.
Yeah, and it's just so weird to me. It's like a subculture or something.
It's like a regional subculture. Well, some people have alleged, and you know, this is an allegation that is like that part of Pizzagate. It functioned as like an occult meeting ground too. You know, the underground and the music, and that's why they all know each other. And the weird symbols that are there, like the smiley face and all that stuff. Like there's smiley faces in some of those videos, which is like associated with the acid rock kind of, electro techno funk or whatever punk that came out of the UK in the 70s and 80s, like real early stuff, you know.
So. It's just kind of, there's so many weird things here, and a lot of these bands aren't very good at all. I'm not like, you know, but they're just not. There's when I looked into Pizzagate too, I found even more stuff. I've wondered about the lettering of the buildings, because there's all these places connected pretty much.
Right. The pizza place down the road and all.
Exactly. So if you got CCP,
Dlux is connected too, right?
Yeah, and across the street, Jake's American Grill actually has Jake's boiler room, the basement, with a kid-friendly bar with free babysitting. I made a video called. Yeah, I made a video called. I forget what it's called. I think it's like Jake's kid-friendly bar.
Yeah. I think the best to live down the street. I mean, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and then Best of Pizza. I found a
Best of
podcast.
Pizza had the pedo symbol. Right?
They had the symbol. I found a podcast which I threw in the same video, the kid-friendly bar video with the free babysitting and you know, it's just all this crazy stuff. Well, the people from this podcast, I used their clip in my video. They actually opened the back door of Best of Pizza.
Wow.
And from the back door, you can see skid stairs going downstairs that look like they go under the street almost. I mean, you can't tell for sure, but they look weird.
Well, they know there's tunnels underneath all that
exactly.
stuff. There's tunneling systems and all that.
I did lots of research where I used Google Maps and David Ramsey historical maps, maps from the 1800s. Yeah. Looking for aqueduct systems, and I did time lapses and all kinds of research back then. And it looks like there was some aqueducts or something under there, but yeah, there are all kinds of tunnels and stuff.
But that gives credence to the notion that these guys are connected and an occult and all kinds of weird stuff.
There's so many connections. Besides, Elephantis owns. I mean, I really don't remember. It's been a while since I researched it, but there was like 20 different businesses around the world that he owned. Right.
So there was all these things in Berlin and all these.
Yeah.
And you know, he was shipping artwork, right?
Exactly.
Shipping artwork here and there. So there's a lot of real sketchy shipping. Like, what else are you shipping? And one of the interesting things about Elephantis, I did some research, like I did like Crowley research and people he influenced. There was a famous picture of these occultists, and they were at this art collective that was in the UK, and then I found out that Elephantis was involved in that, you know, because he was in the avant-garde art scene, right? So I'm like, these guys are all doing the same weirdo art stuff, you know, crazy.
Yeah, it's just like,
oh, there's your video. Kid-friendly basement bar, DC.
Yes,
right? American Grill.
Yes, Jake's American Grill. And I've also and when I was making a video, Blind Item alleged about Kids Incorporated and Fergie and Jennifer Love Hewitt being abused. I actually abbreviated, because they were talking about a child porn producer, and I abbreviated it, you know, to fit it in my clues as CPP. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's Comet Ping Pong's initials too, child porn producer.
Right, and then there's the ping pong that's in Lolita and all that stuff. Like, it all fits in together.
It really does.
All these pedophiles, like Arthur C. Clarke, used to go to a ping pong parlor in Sri Lanka, and that's how he would solicit, you know, 12-year-old boys. So these guys, ping pong is some kind of symbol.
And then like the whole Banana Leaf restaurant with the Haitian child place in it, or
what's that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, and across the street from Comet, you got Jake's American Grill with the kid-friendly bar. Next to that is the Banana Leaf. It's like a Vietnamese restaurant. It may not be Vietnamese. It's some kind of Asian restaurant. With Beyond Borders within the same building. And Beyond Borders helps Haitian children refugees or something like that.
Oh my God! See, I didn't know that. Oh my God!
And
that's insane.
I looked it up when I was researching the original Lolita, like the story behind the book.
Nabokov.
Yeah. Evidently a green leaf was a symbol for a pedophilic symbol. A fresh leaf. And then I'm like, well, banana leaf is green, so that's another like it's. I mean, I don't know,
symbolism.
Yeah. There's so many weird things.
Yeah. Well, then
really
Podesta has the email. I have a map. I have a minor attracted person. So
exactly.
These guys, I mean, come on, man. They're trying to poo-poo the Podesta's publicly saying it's all been debunked. It hasn't been debunked.
No, they just say that.
Debunked. Yeah, but it hasn't even been investigated.
No. So, you know what got me? Here's what got me first, above everything. CNN. Well, it's illegal for you to read these emails. It's all right for us because we're the news, but so let's take a look. And in full disclosure, and that was so blatantly obvious that it makes you have to look.
Cuomo that said that.
It's just like, what are we, stupid? Yeah. I mean,
well, then you go into spirit cooking, and it gets even darker.
Oh man,
and you're into like all these tie-ins between Abramovich and these other weirdos. Man.
And then you go further, and you go to the Adrenochrome and the very dark stuff. The very dark stuff.
Talk about Adrenochrome, just so people.
I remember first seeing about it in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which I liked back in the day.
Right, Hunter Thompson.
Yeah, Hunter S. Thompson, and then his name gets brought up later in the Franklin cover-up as a snuff, like one of the people holding the camera, the snuff film director. Now, of course, I don't know, but there's other rumors too about his personal assistant running out because he was trying to make her watch a snuff film with him before he died.
I remember that. And he tried to pay somebody for a snuff film too.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of, and his friends are sketchy. Depp ties into my West Memphis 3 research.
Mm-hmm. So, and if you look into that at all, I mean, I don't even know how you could 100% say that they weren't, well, you can't say 100% anything, but I never looked into it, but I did watch a video on it, and yeah, there's some sick stuff too. All I'm gonna say.
Grove, all that. I mean, supposedly somebody picked up Hunter S. Thompson in Las Vegas to take him to Bohemian Grove, which fits right in with the Fear and Loathing, right?
Yeah. Man, it's kind of weird.
There's pictures of all the pictures of Hunter S. Thompson gambling in Las Vegas have been scrubbed from the internet. I don't know what happened to him, but it ties him right there to the city.
Well, that's weird, because in the movie, doesn't he just show up again? I don't. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I think he drives into. He's driving into the city when the bats start attacking.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's the first time I heard of adrenochrome, and it's the adrenal gland, or the blood from the adrenalized person, I guess. I mean, I'm not a professional about it or anything.
Thank God.
It's just like, I guess you terrorize a person, get their adrenaline up, and then when you kill them, the blood has that adrenaline in them. And it kind of reminds me, if you've ever seen True Blood, and they try to, take the vampire blood as a drug, like the opposite of that, kind of,
Well, it actually, in animal husbandry, there was a common belief in different cultures that you would want to rile up the animal before you killed it. It would supposedly make the meat deal. And that's what a bulldog is. Like a bulldog was the stocky dog that would harass the cow and get it worked up before they killed it. And in Korean culture, when they eat dogs, they do the same thing. They torture it before they kill it. So in the animal kingdom, that would kind of correlate to this whole adrenochrome notion.
Well, isn't it weird that when, I don't hunt or anything, but I think when you shoot a deer, you're not supposed to let it see you first because it tastes gamey. Because I guess the adrenaline starts going or something like that.
Interesting.
I think so.
Makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. So was there information in some of these blinds or something that these guys were harvesting adrenochrome other than Hunter S. Thompson?
I haven't seen anything in the blinds, but I did see that Tom Sizemore, who's been accused of molesting an 11-year-old girl during a photo shoot after filming Natural Born Killers. No, I'm sorry. He's in 2 movies. One's Natural Born Killers. One's just called Born Killers. It was a set of Born Killers. He has a movie that just came out last year called Adrenochrome. and it looks like a ripoff. I haven't watched it, but it looks like a ripoff of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And then,
So they
yeah,
got
there's all
their
this.
information from that.
Yeah, or they could be doing it for all I know, you know. And the only way to get it is from a living human body, and they even say that in both movies. So, and then some people don't like this guy. Some people like him. Robert David Steele. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
All right, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I
Well,
don't get it.
recently he's been associating with some very sketchy characters.
Yeah.
And people have said,
Yeah, so I
not
don't
really
know. I don't know.
cool.
I can take information with a grain of salt, and I can realize it where I don't know the truth one way or another, but I can hear something and hold on to it for information for later. And what all I can say is that he said in the past that drinking the blood of journalized children, because I guess the younger they are, the more potent or whatever, is like a fountain of youth, and it kind of correlates with the myth of the vampire drinking the blood.
Yeah, it fits in with Crowleyism and all that stuff. Ian Watkins. I mean, we can go into that. That's just material. But I covered him in my book Children of the Beast because he was friends with Peaches Geldof, and she actually outed him as a flat-out baby raper. I mean,
was that the redheaded, his like ex-wife or ex-girlfriend?
So his ex-girlfriend actually was on Ed Opperman Report. And she told her side of the story. But Peaches Geldof, who had some kind of fleeting or some kind of involvement with the OTO and had an admiration of Crowley, and so did Ian Watkins. He actually, I found out recently, was doing this for like vampiric reasons. That's why, so occult reasons, like to get what he thought was, like he's basically a freaking like a vampire, dude.
Yeah,
off the charts, and he went to jail.
Like an energy vampire. You mean like they just like
so
like metaphorically feed off of it or whatever, feed off of this fear off other people. It's crazy when you think about it.
It's often. I mean,
but no, he went.
Adrenochrome is there. It's on the fringes of people's understanding. It's something going on.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I mean, I heard the same thing about Al Gore.
There's
rumors about him being one of those types.
Yeah, there's rumors about a lot of these politicians being this type too.
Yeah. Did you ever read the story about Podesta harvesting a pig?
Maybe.
Yeah, he was used to work on a farm, and they would leave Podesta with the pig, and he would cut it in half with a hacksaw.
That's
so like he was and joking about it, and then he would have something on his desk, and people would ask him laugh about his butchery. It's really something else because that's like the cover for his cooking or whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things in WikiLeaks. There's weird emails. A lot of people haven't touched at all about. Did you get the cookbook? Blah blah blah.
Oh,
and then I started wondering because I saw like a recipe from I covered it a long time ago. I don't remember exactly what it was. An old cookbook, and I'm wondering if they're sending cookbooks to themselves with a key in it. Like certain pages have letters above letters where they assign their own alphabet to speak in code or.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Yeah, like this recipe, this recipe right here.
Like the recipe is like a ritual. The cookbook is a manual. Yeah.
Or just be another way of coding or any. There's so many possibilities to look into, and I couldn't quite decipher it, so I had to move on.
But the coded words are all the time. They don't fit,
Yeah, exactly.
A hot dog stand in Hawaii and blah blah. Well, what the hell are you talking about?
Exactly.
Only the insiders knew, and then people did research. I mean, when you research, you don't know. I mean, I didn't know what pizza meant. I didn't know that there were alternate meanings. Like, what the hell?
Exactly.
Now, what else is there? There may be even darker stuff.
Yeah, and it makes me even feel weird saying pizza anymore.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, "You want to order pizza tonight?" Like, don't say that to me. So we had to change the name.
Please define. What do you mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And then
what's Podesta's pork roast? What was that one about?
Yeah, I don't even know. But
Domino's on cheese and pasta. What?
Yeah, and I made a sarcastic video about that about a year ago, where I was like, I'm trying to play dominoes on pasta or cheese, and I put some provolone cheese down, then I put some dry spaghetti pasta down, and I tried to play dominoes on it, and I'm like, well, I mean the provolone cheese seems to work a little better because the dominoes don't move. You can bump the table; they're fine, but I don't really get the pasta. I haven't tried cooked pasta yet, though. Yeah, because what else could it mean? It's obviously not. You're not playing dominoes.
No way. Yeah, it's crazy. So
I just try putting stuff out in a sarcastic way just to help people think. And then if I can get a lot, here's kind of what I consider myself. I sugar the red pill, so to speak.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to take some of this stuff. So
why did Sean Astin block you?
I don't know. He said something because he is always going political, and I love Sean Astin. Actually, I'm a musician. My singer, he's been my best friend for 20 years. We've been in a bunch of bands together. Sean Astin's his third cousin. His my best friend's mom is Patty Duke. Not Patty. What's Sean Astin's mom? Patty Duke. All right, yeah. My singer's mother is Patty Duke's first cousin. So and Sean, so that's how it goes. He was saying political stuff, and I was just like, Sean, I love you, like he doesn't know me or anything like that. I don't even think he knows his cousin, It's just one of those things. And I was like, I love you, man, but why don't you do like what you should? Not that I was telling him what to do. I said, I love you, man, but shouldn't you worry? Shouldn't you try to say something that means something more, like about the children? It was something to that aspect. I don't really exactly remember what I said. And blocked.
That was it.
That was it.
Didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, so
that's
great. I don't know.
I mean, and then the children. You talk a lot about Tarantino and Polanski, right?
Yeah. That's just so crazy to me. I can't. I just don't comprehend it. I mean, I could see 13-year-old party girls when I was like 14, but not
like 55 saying,
I mean, I just don't get it.
Stuff, yeah.
I mean, dude, my daughter's 2, and I can't imagine when she's 13. But there's no way in hell anything like that's going to be going on. I know that.
Yeah, it's crazy,
there's just some crazy stuff. I think a lot of it's going to be coming out like this year, though. I've been saying positive about it all, even though it's all so dark. It has to come out.
People are still kind of just whittling away at it, like it's coming from different angles. And
exactly. And like I said, over and over and over again, I couldn't do not even half. I couldn't even do 95% of what I do without everyone else's research and help. And so it's definitely like a community and, people helping each other, trying to figure out the truth.
It's good because people need to be warned. You don't want to send your kids alone with any of these people. Like they're almost all of these kids have been abused.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like the default, right? Like which one hasn't been abused?
Well, we've known for years, like even when I was younger, that child actors usually grow up on drugs and,
they're
and just like, it's like, well, why is this? Why is this?
Right. I just read that one blind about Dana Plato. She was from, was it What's Happening? What was that one with you remember Dana Plato?
I don't know.
That's before your time. When I was growing up, it was the story with the kids. There were 2 African-American kids and her and her dad. What you talking about, Willis? Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
She was in that, but they just came out with one on CDAN that she was abused by the producers. And when I was growing up, I knew somebody who knew her. And young, man, her drugs consumption at a very young age was off the charts. Like she was a garbage head, like pills. And it was just very like she on TV, she was just this fresh faced kid, but behind the scenes, man, she was a mess. And her life was wrecked probably by these jerks. And same thing goes with Heather O'Rourke. If people don't know the Heather O'Rourke story,
I wouldn't that's a sick one.
It's a sick one, and just all these people. I mean,
well, even Drew Barrymore was addicted to drugs at 9 years old.
Right, and there's that picture of Spielberg holding Drew Barrymore and Heather O'Rourke. Saying things that really super creepy.
One thing that really bugged me about Steven Spielberg was reading about Heather O'Rourke being alone, waiting for her mom or whatever at this somewhere they were eating, I guess. 4 years old, I think, and he comes up to her and starts, talking to her. And I know you're a director and producer, but I wouldn't want anybody doing that to my kid, my daughter.
Yeah. I think he said something really creepy too, like she was exquisite or some kind of term. Like, so people that don't know the cover story or the rumor, that Poltergeist movie, the first one was like supposedly cursed among the Hollywood people because the girl in it was beaten to death by her boyfriend, right? That was, can't remember. Her dad was a famous author, right?
I don't remember her name, but I
can't remember the name. Doesn't come to me. And then Heather O'Rourke supposedly died of like an infection at a young age.
I think septic shock. Maybe?
Septic shock, right?
Yeah.
Which is only part of the story because according to the CDAN material, she basically was, raped to death or something.
Like pretty much. Yeah. Something inserted that caused blockage.
Oh my God. So that's
I was a kid. I was a kid back then, but it's still something about it. Even back then, felt weird to me. I just didn't seem right,
Well, 12-year-olds, 12, 13, they don't use, it's unusual to die of something like that too. Typically, the kid's immune system is functioning very well, So.
And then it makes you wonder why. Why are they doing this?
And that's the whole thing goes back to Nickelodeon. But that interesting post, if I remember, on CDAN was associated with her death. There was a guy, a Bergdorf or whatever, who was one of the producers. And so some of these, one of the things that was interesting about reading that, and I've learned a couple things. These movie production areas are super corrupt. So what's happening on sets are monstrosities, and this whole idea of yachting, which I didn't have any idea about. But I've learned like all these women with the money on the side, on these boats. But just to go back, this one guy, I forgot his name, Bergdorf. But according to CDAN, there was a woman he had raped on a totally different set, and she had him killed, and that was what she wanted to tell. And that was really an interesting blind, because on CDAN there are other contributors, other contributors. So people, as one guy goes by HMMMM, and then there's another one. So. Really interesting, and I can tell some of those people are very sophisticated, like they're good writers, and some of these people get the details, the legal details down very well, like the specifics are done right. So there's definitely some intelligence on some of those posts,
I couldn't do it if it wasn't like that. Yeah, they're very well written and like easy to decipher. If you with the tools we have nowadays, IMDb is a very good one.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I mean, these stories are just incredible, man.
Yeah, they really are, and just you would never have known. So I appreciate it, and I guess this has gone on for a long time. I found a video of Heidi Fleiss's about Heidi Fleiss, an old one.
What was that? Tell me about the whole Heidi Fleiss story. I didn't watch that video.
Yeah, I did one called Heidi Fleiss's Little Black Book, and even back then, I think I don't know exactly when. I'd say late 90s, early 2000 was when this documentary was made that I used. And they mentioned blind items in there. Of course, it was probably, it wasn't the same one. Well, who knows? It might have been, for all I know. But, it was, I think there were LA Times reporters talking about it. And they're like, there was a bunch of series of blind items about certain executives and producers using money to pay for hookers, blah, blah, blah. And that's when one of these producers disputed this rumor that he wasn't even named in because of his blind item. So he just made it so obvious. Yeah, it wasn't me. Another thing in this video though is they were talking about the girls, and Charlie Sheen's name comes up back then about having some blonde girl. Oh yeah, Charlie Sheen gave her away as a birthday present.
That's right. So there's the human trafficking 20 years ago, right?
And some of these ex-prostitutes are mentioning, Saudi Arabia was here all the time, blah, blah, blah. And sending girls to Saudi Arabia. They're just talking about it openly.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's remarkable is there is an underground trade of these women who B-list, C-list, that somebody will pay for a weekend. Come on my boat. Mm-hmm. And I think that there was one about the girl. It was Orlando Bloom's wife. What was her name? Do you remember her?
No, I know.
And they were saying she got paid $1 million to go on these boats. Like, what?
Yeah.
Someone's laying down $1 million, and she takes it.
Yeah.
Rumor, a lot, just to let everybody know, these are rumors that people are posting, but
Yeah. But
it was Miranda Kerr. Saying that, and that, and then she got married to the guy's the head of Snapchat, and apparently, some of the stock sales that he did were due to her asking for money, according to the blind.
Yeah. But also to be mentioned is these blind items are the ones that originally called out people like Weinstein way before it came out.
Correct. So they were right about Weinstein. They were right about Spacey.
They were also right about Matt Lauer before.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't keep up with a lot of the just plain gossip ones because if it's consensual, it's none of my business personally, But I noticed that a lot of the stories come out, I see on Twitter. Oh yeah, Andy Lawyer posted about this a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So
there's another
getting out.
Yeah, there's another guy on Twitter that I follow who does a good job.
Is he John Doe?
Yeah, John Doe.
Yeah, he's really good. He's
really good. So what he does is he's gone through all these posts over the years about these characters and put them together.
Yep.
And there was one about Sean Penn, just showing all the super sketchy stuff out of Haiti. He's got businesses there doing packaging stuff. Like, what the hell? This
I
is
know.
so crazy.
I've heard rumors. I haven't got to delve into him yet, though. But yeah, I've heard rumors.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
John Doe's good. I just recently started. He watched my Kubrick video, and he said he thought I was spot on with it. Except I thought it was. I think I got the wrong actor in the movie.
What was your? Tell me about the content of the Kubrick video.
The Kubrick video. It was talking. Basically, it turned out I'm pretty sure it was Lolita in 1962,
Okay.
and whoever the director was, raped 13 or 12 to 14-year-old girls and said whoever was the best was getting the part. She also slept with one of the actors in the movie, much older, and that's what I thought. I thought it was James Mason.
Uh-huh.
Everybody else was saying it's Peter Sellers.
I missed that one.
Yeah, and she went on. They say that they drug her around for years under the pretense of getting her more movie roles, where really she just pretty much went around and making porno movies, like kiddie porn movies, or
So they're saying Kubrick was basically involved in pedophilia too. I mean, I heard that rumor.
Yeah, pretty much. It seems if this is all right, it seems to be it. Yeah, the clues they left,
and that would make perfect sense then. That him hanging out with Arthur C. Clarke and all that whole strain of pedophilia and weird. I mean, because there's weird stuff in like The Shining too. Like
there's
weird hints in there. Yeah.
I used that in that video. The same video. Yeah, I think I did.
Wow,
yeah, and I found some old interviews. I found an old interview with Sue Lyon, who played Lolita back in 1962, I think the interview was, and some weird stuff there. Then I found one more interview of her in like 1987, and she's like, "I like my privacy, blah blah blah." She's like, "It's not that I'm hiding anything."
Right? Why would you say that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
There's so much.
So it just keeps on Woody Allen. I mean, these guys, it's just crazy.
It really is. I'm just glad the info's getting out there. That was my main concern. So
one of the odd things too is this whole thing of Tom DeLonge. I mean, you go back to Pizzagate and Podesta. There's that picture of DeLonge with Peter Lavenda and John Podesta, and then I saw that one video of yours. What the hell is Tom DeLonge doing with these pictures that look like pedophile symbols?
Yeah,
what the freaking heck! Like,
that his company or whatever.
Yeah. Going to the stars, and then like DeLonge was on. I watched the one with Joe Rogan, and it just was like he's probably he just wouldn't answer or come to conclusions. Like, we've got these great plans in the future, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it's really weird because I mean personally I'm interested in the whole UFO and alien thing. I always have been, but something just doesn't sit right with me, and I can't really put my finger on it.
Well, I can tell you about Lavenda, who he's been seen in OTO rituals, like literal.
Really?
Like, I'll send you the pictures of that one.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's supposedly the ghostwriter of the Necronomicon, right? So
really,
so Simon is Peter Lavenda, and there's actually a pretty credible document that shows that he applied for the Library of Congress copyright for the book as a pseudonym for Simon.
Okay.
So I'll send you that too. But then you just see that he's all these strange connections. Pizzagate, Podesta, Lavenda, co-authored the book Secret Machines with DeLonge. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I've heard of the book though.
Yeah,
I have heard of the book.
And he's written a lot of stuff.
That's the one thing that's hard for me, having a young family and working full time.
I know exactly how you feel, dude. I juggle a lot of stuff too. So
but it's a passion. Like, I can't help myself. Like, I'm compelled to make these videos, And despite how nasty the subjects are, it's still fun for me,
Well, one of the remarkable things is these guys have gotten away with so much wrongdoing for so long, decades, 20, 30, 40 years, that it's just incredible that all those, magazines, even magazines that are antithetical towards Hollywood, never really got into these subjects that CDN put out some pretty credible stuff about,
Exactly, and that's why I take more notice of papers like National Enquirer nowadays, because
that's
back in the
interesting
day,
you say that. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying like everything in it is true, but I can't say I don't know. I know whether it is or not.
One of the oddities about National Enquirer is that it's clearly a tabloid rag, but they get sued all the time. So people love to sue them. So they kind of do have to vet. Like, to my knowledge, they never got sued for that Charlie Sheen stuff they did.
Yeah.
Which was an incredible expose.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. I got a copy of that one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, and there's some other one. They talk crap about the Clintons all the time and their sketchy stuff. So
that's why I don't really discriminate where the info comes from. I'll take it all with a grain of salt and just try to connect what I can out of what this person says or this paper says, or because that's all you can really do.
I agree.
It seems to be working now for the most part. For what I can do.
Hey man, I got to tell you, your videos are great. I hope everybody goes to your YouTube channel at Jamie Dlux, JAMIE DLUX. Take a look through those. I've been through half of your videos and learned a lot. And kind of the way you lay it out too is, you can. It's just very sensible in the way that you follow along. Like, okay, here's the blind, here's who it is. Who it could be. This all fits together. So
here's what I found, and then in the end, I don't know. I never say because I don't know. But here's the info I'm getting. Here's what I found. This fits. These puzzle pieces fit. So until anything else, but I definitely have a good feel. Like I wouldn't put it out if I didn't feel like it was if it was right.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, I think that I didn't go through any one of your videos that I thought didn't have an integrity towards what was going on in real time.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be. I don't go after like trying to scare people. I don't go after anything but the truth and maybe getting a laugh here and there. Because I think laughter is very conducive to like taking this stuff in, or it makes it easier.
I agree. I mean, you can. I've myself, from my own personal experience, I've gotten into some of this dark stuff enough where you just want to get out of your mind. So being able to laugh about it is definitely a plus. So I think we're coming to an end. Jamie, is there anything you would like to add? Where can people reach your stuff or reach you or follow your information?
Yeah. YouTube.com/Jamie Dlux. I also have a book on Barnes & Noble. It's not just me. I'm in a book with 5 other people called, what's it called? Poetry's Not Dead. Collection of poems by Southern punks. And I'm one of 6 people in there, like picture, biography, some poetry.
Cool. How would you describe your style? What's your influences?
My style? What, for the poetry?
Poetry, yeah.
I don't really know. I don't really know my style because, like, I've always been a songwriter and stuff. It was me just sitting out back and being passionate about trying to put these my puzzle poetry, I'll say, I guess.
Gotcha. Cool.
I try to connect words. Like if it starts with CR, I'll try to make a whole poem of stuff that starts with CR.
Gotcha. Cool.
It's weird. I'm weird. I know that.
Hey, man, these videos are great. So I just want to say again, I commend you for taking the time to put those together and helping get that message out. I think it's really important.
Well, I appreciate it. I really do. Like I said, as sick as it is, I do enjoy doing this, or I wouldn't be doing it so much. It's like an addiction in a way.
All right. So just to wrap up, it's Jamie Dlux. Dlux is spelled DLUX at youtube.com, and he's got a book on Amazon. The title is, what was it again?
Poetry's Not Dead.
Poetry's Not Dead. Ladies and gentlemen, that's tight. Jamie Dlux. Thank you for being on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. It was a blast.
Thanks, man. God bless. All right, we're done. I'm just going to edit out the end. I might do a different intro.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. No, I enjoyed it. It was very very good, and I don't think I cussed once, which is
that was awesome, man. Good job. I mean, I almost felt like swearing. I almost kind of threw up in my mouth there.
Yeah, well, people usually don't say that to me, but
all right, brother. Take care, man. God bless.
Hey, you too. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
It'll go out on Ed Opperman tomorrow. It'll go out on his YouTube, and then it goes out on all his channels: iHeartRadio, Spreaker. He's got a whole bunch of different things. He's got a live show, so people will hopefully you'll get some business. All right.